This is Brother Ron, and welcome to We All Be News Radio and TV, the news-free Dixie for the 21st century. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. I should have left you with some dope knowledge to seep in your cranium. Hey, everybody. Good evening, boys and girls. Scholars and laymen. It's the one and only Brother Ron, also known as R2, C2, H2, the artivist. And this is another wonderful infotainment, edutainment edition of the Artivist Thinks. Now, I want to thank everybody for who recently donated or donated, the donation out there to the We All Be movement. It came in handy this time, boys and girls, scholars and laymen. As usual, I want to thank everybody who have received something from my ministry, from our ministry, because we all be in it to win it. So I'm glad, that people are getting stuff out of here. And for all my haters, thank you for being a friend. Or rather, thank you for being a fan, because your haters are your fans. So people say this and that, but it's the man or the woman in the arena that counts. I'm in the game. I'm not on the sidelines. I'm not Monday morning quarterbacking, as they say. I am in the game. I am in it to win it by any means necessary. With that said, I've been taking in all this Bill Cosby verdict sentencing aftermath, and one who is ruled by their emotions can never win. They can never see anything beyond their own ignorance and feelings, nothing but feelings. So I'm right here. I want to just talk about something about the Cosby situation. Shout out to the grassroots black media, because the traditional black media is dead on arrival, but the grassroots black media is alive and well. So I want to thank and give a shout out to people like Nicole's View, Gavin Richard, not Richard, but Richard, Brother Drew Story, Brother Young Farrell, for his excellent perspective on the Cosby situation, defending Cosby against the likes of Michael Rappaport and Amber Rose, Rambling Rose. I love that. Y'all gotta check out Young Farrell's take on it. Like I said, those are just people that off the top of my head that I really appreciate their perspective. I also gotta get a shout out to Urban X and Black Dot. I was interested. I didn't know what to expect when he said Cosby did it, but not this video and analysis. I welcome that as well. But we got to really step our game up, people. Not just the black media, but also black people in general. Stop always falling for the okie doke. Stop always, just being your feelings. Stop being beta males. Stop being all this stuff that you get in your emotions. Why you sound like a Keith Sweat song from the 80s. I'm just saying we got to start thinking logical and analytical and cerebral right now. This is about strategy. Like Denzel said, this is not checkers, this is chess. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. So this is a time that we all got to step up as a people to show and prove and show the way. We are the universal people. We are the people, the chosen folks of the universe. That's who black folks are. See, that's the thing. And that's our problem, because we're not just thinking about ourselves, we're thinking about everybody. It's like when the black women marched in D.C. this past weekend. The black women not only thinking about themselves, they're thinking about the whole human family, because they're the mothers of civilization. They are the mothers of humanity, our black women. So, but in the same time, a lot of us get lost in the sauce. When we don't put black first, we always get lost in the sauce, or burnt or scorched at the bottom of the pan. If it's a melting pot, black stays at the bottom, scorched to the damn pan. We got to start thinking about us right now, because you got to think about it. If we are the architects, if we are the parents of humanity, if we take care of our needs, then everybody get taken care of. everybody get fed, everybody get clothed, everybody get sheltered. So that's what I'm trying to say is, when we work together, we shift paradigms, because black power is unity and solidarity. White power is divide and conquer. This system is fueled by white power. This is not a humane system. This is why we are locked in a death cycle, a death culture, because in a humane system, abortion would not even exist. In a humane system, abortion will not exist because life will be celebrated, life will be supported, life will be promoted. But we live in a death culture. Like MLK said over 50 years ago, the greatest purveyor of violence on the planet is my own government. Once again, the greatest purveyor of violence is my own government. Dr. King came out against the Vietnam War in that famous, or rather, depending on your perspective, infamous Riverside Church speech, April 4th, 1967, up in Harlem, New York. He was dead April 4th, 1968. A year later, some used to say the balcony of Lorraine Motel. That's where they shot him in the face. But some people now saying that he was killed at the hospital, St. Joseph's, smothered to death with a pillow with spit on his face, courtesy of the chief surgeon and his cronies. So, read The Plot to Kill King by Dr. William Pepper. Once again, we had him on the show. Read the book, The Plot to Kill King, to understand the wicked, filthy system for what it is. The government was found guilty of killing Dr. King December 8th, 1999 in a civil court in Memphis, Tennessee. Now, let's get back to what I'm talking about in this episode. This is important, y'all. Like I said, I want to give a shout out to the grassroots black media for doing their job. Unfortunately, the Just Us system didn't do their job. And unfortunately, the sheeple has fell for the trick again. Our people have fell for the okie doke once again. This is crazy. The Cosby verdict and sentencing had nothing to do with rape, had nothing to do with gender wars. These are all Trojan horses. These are all distractions. Had nothing to do with men versus women, black man versus black woman. Your pain is more important, it's more traumatic than my pain, that type of stuff. They were using our emotions to get us distracted about what the real reason why they have made this horrible example of Bill Cosby. When you think of Bill Cosby, you should be thinking about Emmett Till, the Scottsboro Boys, the Central Park Five. He was raped by the justice system. Bill Cosby was the only rape victim in that room when they sentenced him to what basically is a death sentence. Now, I want to give y'all some new talking points. I appreciated the commentary over the weekend. Also, shout out to Brother Darren Muhammad, State of the City. State of the City, it's not pretty living just to know the city I live in. Okay, State of the City. Check it out, y'all. Google that. Brother Darren Muhammad, one of Baba's chosen, Baba Dick Gregory. But this is what I want to talk to you about. The real reason why they got at Mr. Bill Cosby. The real reason. And I'm going to give y'all the evidence. I want y'all to make this viral. Not necessarily you got to make me viral, but make what I'm giving the information viral. Because like Baba Dick Gregory said, information is power. Bad information is bad power. Good information is good power. And like I say, knowledge is the currency of the universe. I'm going to share with you all the real reason why Cosby was got gone. This is the real reason. I know y'all talk about he tried to buy NBC back in the day, but that was about 30 years ago almost. And his son was sacrificed because he stepped out of line. Because y'all don't realize these folks do make some type of quote-unquote oath to become famous. I had a friend in Jegna, the late great Mr. Emerson Abel Jr., who was one of the greatest band directors in Memphis City history. He was the high school band director of Isaac Hayes at Manassas High School. He kicked Isaac Hayes out the band. Ended up working for Isaac Hayes at Stax, helped him with some of his most memorable hits, including Shaft. Worked with him during the famous White Stax concert back in the 70s. Check out the documentary. But he used to tell me, Ron, nobody dies a natural death in show business. Once again, Mr. Emerson used to tell me, Ron, nobody dies a natural death in show business. With that said, he told me things that happened behind the scenes, the real stories behind some of our most celebrated icons. People like Sammy Davis Jr., Otis Redding, stuff like that. He shared with me. I have not shared with anybody else at this point. I might share in the future. Who knows? But anyway, getting back to Bill Cosby. Let's bring up a new talking point when you talk about why Bill Cosby is innocent of these so-called charges. Once again, everybody, Bill Cosby never admitted to drugging a woman or women. He never admitted to that. He never admitted to raping anybody. Read the 2005 deposition for yourself. Take a look. It's all online. The full deposition is available in PDF form, but also check out the main or lack stream media like CNN, Time, New York Times. They publish parts of the deposition. In no part that was published did he ever admit it to drugging or slipping stuff in people's drinks. Quaaludes were too big to slip in somebody's drink. They would have noticed that big white pill floating in their drink. Quaaludes were legal back in the 70s. He got his Quaaludes from his doctor. It was prescribed to him by his doctor. He used it like everybody else back in the day as a party drug for young people. So if a woman say, hey, he said in his deposition, he used Quaaludes like people use drinks. Like T-Pain, buy you a drink, bartender. That's how he was using those drugs as a way to loosen people up. You know, when people say they drink to get loosened up, to try to lower their inhibitions and social anxiety, you know. So that's what he was using as a social drug. And so he admitted to, offering Quaaludes, and they accepted. He did not trick them into taking the Quaaludes. So with Andrea Constant, he gave her Benadryl. He didn't give her no Quaaludes. And she took the Benadryl. He offered her the Benadryl for her headache, and she took them. So he didn't drug her. And they had sex. She admitted to that. It was consensual, right? Okay. The problem with Andrea Constant's story is that it's inconsistent. That's why the first DA, Bruce Castor, did not bring charges against Mr. Cosby, because her story was inconsistent. And the fact that instead of going to the police or getting a criminal lawyer, she went to a civil attorney. She went to law offices. She went into the library to research civil suits. So she was not seeking justice. You understand what I'm saying? This is not me saying this. Read the deposition for yourself. Do a little bit of reading for yourself. Stop letting these folks play y'all like some chumps. Read for yourself. All this information is out there. Check out on Nicole's View. She posted the interview that Cosby's publicist did last week at a popular Philadelphia radio station. Look up YouTube Nicole's View, because she was at the trial. I think she was at the second trial, and she's talking about how it was a circus. Basically, Cosby was tried by public opinion. He was cyber bullied by the Me Too movement and social media. That influenced the outcome of the trial. So look at Drew's story. He breaks it down beautifully. Like Brother Malcolm X said, the media is the most powerful entity on the planet because it influences and controls the minds of the masses. That's the media. If we don't control our media, we can't tell our story. We can't reclaim the narrative. We can't counter his story. So that's important. Check out Drew's story. He breaks it down with the information. Check out Nicole's View. So this is part one on why they really got Bill Cosby. I'm going to have a couple of things coming up. I'm going to interview some people. I'm also going to bring in some more information. But Exhibit A. Back in March of 2014, think about it. When did all this stuff come up with these accusers? The big stuff. We heard whispers throughout the years, right? Whispers in the dark. We heard stuff throughout the years about Cosby. I remember around the time that his son was murdered, was assassinated. You know, that Autumn Jackson girl. Autumn Jackson, I think from Las Vegas, came forward saying she was the daughter of Bill Cosby. I think that's her name. That was kind of awkward. It was like, I never guess it's the right time, but even in the deposition, Bill was just awfully honest. It was so embarrassing that he was so honest. He was actually honest about being a philanderer, about being a cooch hound, about being a womanizer. He tried to hide the affair from his wife, Dr. Camille Cosby, by paying off Andrea Constant. He admitted to that in the deposition. So he also talked about offering women drugs and getting as prescription. So y'all trying to say he's a rapist? He never was proved to be a rapist. Where's the evidence that he raped anybody? If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. That's why it was a mistrial. Then they suppress evidence. There's so many stuff in this trial that he's going to get out on appeal, or he should be able to get out on appeal. You got basically 30 appealable offenses that they know of, that we know of at this moment, that should allow Cosby to get out. But this is not about Bill Cosby. This is about the fact that even with money, they still high-tech lynch Bill Cosby. Imagine the poor brothers and sisters in a Just Us system. I'm in Memphis, Tennessee. This is basically a plantation town. This is a feeder prison town. You understand? You go down court, the 201 Poplar, nothing but black folks in orange and all type of colors. Colors. So what I'm saying is, if they could do this to a rich black celebrity, imagine what they're doing to your cousin, to your brother, to your uncle, to your mother, to your auntie, to your sister. That's not even getting any type of light of day in the media. Think about it. All these prison strikes that are going on in America that's not getting media coverage. But we know of this because of grassroots black media and other sources in the grassroots. Go back and listen to Malcolm X's speech, Message to a Grassroots. He knew that it was not about who was in the office that got things done. He knew it happened in the streets, in the homes, in the churches, in the storefronts. This is how change happened. People must mobilize and galvanize and demand. Like Frederick Douglass said, power concedes nothing without a demand. It never has and never will. So this is the reason why they took down Bill Cosby. 4 years ago, Dr. Bill Cosby and Dr. Camille Cosby, his wife for 50 plus years, protest the building of a pipeline through their property in Massachusetts. They went against the energy giant Kinder Morgan. Kinder Morgan wanted to build this almost $500 million pipeline through their property in Massachusetts. The Cosby own a lot of real estate in places like Massachusetts and Pennsylvania and California. But also they're conservationists. They believe in protecting the environment from abuse by evil, wicked people and corporations. So they believe in protecting the land and conserving the land for future generations. So with that said, back in March of 2014, the Cosby joined forces with environmental activists to stop the plans of Kinder Morgan from developing and building their pipeline, and from also using a form of thing called fracking to really disrupt the environment. No, fracking leads to small tremors. We had fracking going on in Arkansas, which led to tremors. We are on a fault line in Memphis in this area. It's called the New Madrid Fault Line. We haven't had a big earthquake since around 1812, 1811. We due for a big one, but them fracking and digging into the earth is not helping matters. It's only going to escalate it. And it's the big one, Elizabeth. I'm coming to join you, Elizabeth. It's a big one. It's a big one. But anyway, Miss Cosby wrote an op-ed about the whole thing in the Shelburne Falls and West County Independent. This is a paper in the area of Massachusetts where they live. They live in Shelburne, Massachusetts. So I want to read this. I'm going to include this shot of the PDF in the video. I'm going to include the URL where you can find this PDF online. I want you all to make this viral. This is important that this go viral. All right? Make this viral. Say, not only did they get Bill Cosby was trying to buy NBC, they got Bill Cosby because he would not be cowered down to or intimidated by the powers that be who wanted oil. Baba Dick Gregory used to always tell me, Brother Ron, look up the Freedom of Information Act as it concerned Bill Cosby and his property. He would tell me, just like Michael Jackson, Bill Cosby got more oil on his property than Kuwait. Once again, Baba Dick Gregory would joke, but be serious at the same time. He said that Bill Cosby has more oil under his property than Kuwait. Same thing with Neverland Ranch that Michael Jackson used to own. A lot of oil under his property. Blood oil. Michael Jackson, they took him out. Bill Cosby, they're on their way to taking him out. But the people must know. Like Ida B. Wells said so much. The press is a great educator of the people. The people must be informed before they can act in the desired manner. Ida B. Wells knew the power of the press. Every black leader that we had knew the power of the press. They knew that we had to control our media to tell our story. If you think somebody is a black leader and they don't have no idea how to use this media thing to leverage in terms of telling our story, they're not a real black leader. Okay, every black leader we had that was great had a way to tell their story. They utilized the press. But anyway, or they created their own media platform. So let me read this op-ed that the sister wrote. She did this back in March 10th, 2014 is when it was published. By the end of 2014, Bill Cosby was disgraced. So-called accusers started coming out the woodworks. Honorary degrees were taken away from him. Had to cancel his tour. Had a deal with Netflix that was canceled. And this is all around when Hannibal Buress did that whatever joke. Y'all, I don't. Hannibal Buress, I guess he's talented. He's not really my type of comedian, but he did that joke. He took off. But it wasn't just Hannibal Buress. This was a conspiracy. I know a lot of y'all don't believe in conspiracies, but I do because they're the reality. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy realist. So with that said, it's funny how Dr. Camille wrote this op-ed about being against the energy giant Kinder Morgan in terms of them building a pipeline and also fracking. You got to think about it. This happened during the Obama administration. You know, this is the same Massachusetts where his good friend Skip Gates got disrespected by a white police officer at his home in Cambridge. Obama said the police acted stupidly. Then when the white folks got on his ass, he took it back and had a beer summit. So Obama didn't say a damn word. And also you got to think about what the Indians were doing to try to stop that pipeline on their reservation. That also happened during Obama's term. So you can't put that on Trump. So anyway, let me read the article. It's available in the video. I will include the URL in the description box. And y'all need to find a way to support the We All Be movement because I'm here to liberate. I'm not here just to keep y'all hostage. I want to free y'all because liberation is important. So let me read. Ignorance is not bliss. We must galvanize against another encroacher. A proposed $341 million gas pipeline through the region. My family and I have been residents of this beautiful bucolic area since 1971. Throughout the years, we have purchased numerous acres, not for assets, but solely for the preservation of the magnificence of nature. Moreover, we have assigned hundreds of our acreage to the Franklin Land Trust for conservation. I know that there are many conscientious activists in these hill towns. Walter Kudnohowski is an excellent example of someone who has implemented a continual push for truthful information about the devastating human and environmental issues pertaining to industrial wind turbines. The public needs the truth to counter particular companies' repetitive, common, untruthful spiel, such as improving the quality of lives and job opportunities. Now, there is another encroacher on the horizon, with the customary promises that each community's citizens will benefit from the installation of its gas pipelines. Because, as it states, there is a demand for clean, burning natural gas in the northeastern United States. Of course, there isn't any mention of a plan to develop much needed clean energy, such as from the sun. But the plan, as reported in the media, is to spend $341 million on what is labeled as its Northeast Expansion Project. The encroacher, the Tennessee Gas Pipeline Company, a subsidiary of the Kinder Morgan Company, has a modus operandi to transport gas that has been extracted from our Earth's shale rocks with a mixture of high-pressure water, sand, and unknown chemicals. The federal government does not require the disclosure of those chemicals to release the gas from the shale rocks. This process is called fracking. I, as well as many of you, have received the Tennessee Gas Pipeline Company's Massachusetts fact sheet, which propagandizes it as a good corporate citizen and dedicated to protecting the public and the environment. Questions. Isn't fracking an oxymoron to protecting the environment and the public? Haven't fracking and installation of gas pipelines destroyed wetlands, flora, fauna, clean air, drinking water sources, and created an immense accumulation of toxic waste? Look at what has happened in New Jersey, Delaware, Texas, and several other states that have experienced perverse human and environmental consequences from gas pipelines. How will the pipelines affect property values and homeowners' insurance policies? What are the possibilities of explosions and or gas spillages from the pipelines? Do you think that a company that prioritizes lucrative returns to its shareholders, thus to itself, instead of prioritizing respect for humans and environments, in addition to generating large amounts of profits, is going to care about our nation's populations except as consumers? I hope that the aforementioned questions will be researched to activate thoughts, balanced with facts, which might enable galvanization against an encroacher that has power only if we, the public, gives it our consent and support. Of course, TGP can try to seize any of our properties by asking the federal government to exercise the U.S. Constitution's eminent domain, Fifth Amendment, but we, the people, can reciprocate by not being consumers of TGP's products. Indeed, businesses cannot exist without our dollars. Ignorance is not bliss. As my father, who was a chemist, repeatedly stated to me in my childhood, the evidence is the truth. And it says Camille Cosby is a Shelburne resident and longtime land conservationist. So, in her words, this is what it's really all about. This is the classic American land grab. They coming for their land. Don't be surprised if the land is eminent domain. They were cut down because they were too visible as activists against this conglomerate. Kinder Morgan. You see what I'm saying? Y'all need to get help. This article is dated March 10th, 2014, the same year that all these accusations started snowballing out of control against Bill Cosby. See how it works? Somewhere. Magic glasses on and can't be taken off. So spread this through your networks. This is what it was all about, land grabbing. They using rape and sexual improperness and pedophilia, all this stuff to distract us from what they doing. Divide and conquer, baby. Divide and conquer. White power system. Thank y'all for listening. More to come. More to come. I just want to share this bit on my mind since last week. Because everybody and all their so-called commentaries and being balanced and analytical have not really touched on this like it should have been touched upon. That this is the real reason why they coming at Bill Cosby. Because they have no evidence against Bill. It's not for me to speak on what the man did or did not do. Nobody's a saint. Like they always say, every saint got a past and every sinner got a future. So it's not for me to judge Bill Cosby. Only the universal God can really judge Bill Cosby. We are in Libra season. One of Bill Cosby's best friends was Baba Dick Gregory, who's a Libra, who debuted on this earthly plane October 12th, 1932. He was real good friends with Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby basically took Dick Gregory's place because he chose the struggle Bill Cosby chose the limelight, the mainstream, but at the same time now he's in the struggle, not only for himself but for the legacy. Bill Cosby is more than just that pound cake speech y'all keep on trying to bring up as a reason why y'all say to hell with Bill Cosby. He talking down to you. Y'all forget this man's from the projects of Philadelphia. He came from where a lot of us have come. He loved black people. He wanted to be in a position to help influence the image of black people. I had a chance to talk to the great Eric Monty. A lot of y'all not hip to who Eric Monty is. Eric Monty is actually the real creator behind things like Good Times, The Jeffersons. He wrote Coolie High, which is based on his story of growing up in Chicago, living in Cabrini Green projects. This guy was blackballed by Hollywood because he tried to tell the truth about what they're trying to do to the black image back in the 70s. He tried to warn black people. He tried to go to the NAACP. He tried to go to Jesse Jackson. He tried to go to anybody that would listen, but nobody would listen to what he was saying. He was the canary in the mine. He was trying to tell the world and black people that Hollywood is going to character assassinate the black family. It was him who insisted that the Evans family in Good Time had a black father figure. You see how they killed off James? Damn. They killed James off. But James would not even existed if it wasn't for people like Eric Monty insisting that Norman Lear, that's the white guy y'all all love to credit as being the guy behind all these hit shows back in the day. Norman Lear was almost 100 years old, living good, living well as a white man. Norman Lear, the guy who blackballed Eric Monty, because Eric Monty took Norman Lear and others to court. He got a settlement for $1 million, but he fell on hard luck and hard times, and we don't really honor our people that fight for us. We need to stop all this like grandstanding that we do as a people, like we all about their business. We got the nerve to call people agents when we don't have the audacity to support people that are true freedom fighters and liberators. Malcolm died broke, holes in his shoes and shit like that. You know, it's just like we don't care until we care. Until white folks say it's okay to care or to think. But I want my people to think about what they did to Bill Cosby. Because today, him, tomorrow, is like what Haile Selassie told the League of Nations when Italy invaded Ethiopia. Today, us, but tomorrow. And then what happened? Several years later, Germany invaded Poland. We got World War II. So y'all got to think about it. This is not about Cosby. Y'all can't use Bill Cosby as the insert here guy for whoever abused you, whether it been your uncle, your brother, your daddy, your mother, your aunt, your sister, the babysitter. Y'all cannot put that on Bill Cosby. Because if y'all not trying to send these priests to jail or hell, they've been raping and busting these boys' booties for generations, you can't put that on Bill Cosby. If you can't be honest about how that Bill Cosby paid almost $4 million still facing jail, where Asia Argento can have sex with underage boy and only pay $400,000 to get off. And she's not looking at any jail. We gotta start thinking about this from different angles. I can't help that a lot of y'all don't got magic glasses. That's on y'all, but y'all try to make people feel bad who do got magic glasses. This is not about being a fan of Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby, people blocked me on Twitter. I didn't do anything to Bill Cosby. They blocked me on Twitter back in 2015. But I still got love for Bill Cosby because I'm not in my feelings. I'm looking at this. This is bigger than Bill Cosby. This put Bill Cosby in that rarefied era of the Scottsboro Boys, of the Emmett Till. Let me bring up Willie McGee, and then I'm going to shut it down, and I'll get ready for part 2. Willie McGee. Y'all look up who Willie McGee was. Willie McGee was a black man from Laurel, Mississippi, who was accused of raping a white woman, a housewife. They sentenced him to death for alleged rape, but till his dying breath, until his dying day, he confessed his innocence. He said they had a consensual relationship. I interviewed the granddaughter of Willie McGee. I interviewed an author, a white man from Jackson, Mississippi, who was a magazine editor. He wrote a book called The Eyes of Willie McGee. Willie McGee was a celebrity case in a lot of ways because it got international attention. Because people was concerned that how can they send this guy to be executed in an electric chair for rape, and then a lot of people believe he didn't do it. You had people like Paul Robeson, Josephine Baker, Albert Einstein, writing to President Truman, even the Pope and the Vatican. All these people trying to stop this execution of this black man. They ended up executing Willie McGee back in 1952, I believe. And like I said, I interviewed the granddaughter of Willie McGee, and also I interviewed an author, I think his name Alex Hurd, if I'm not mistaken, white guy from Jackson, Mississippi, wrote a book about Willie McGee. And at his book signing in Memphis, Tennessee, back in 2010, I ain't gonna never forget this. It was an elderly white woman that came to me at the book signing. She was from Laurel, Mississippi. Because like I said, he insisted that he was innocent until his dying day. Even the prosecutor or the DA that put him in death, and put him on death row, met with him one time to have, I guess, a drink with him while he was in the death house. He just wanted him to come clean. He said, Willie, just come clean, Willie. Did you do it? He said, basically to paraphrase him, she wanted it just as much as I did. So he insisted that, hey, this woman was in a consensual relationship with me. Now, she ended up dying in a car accident some years later, but she kept on saying that she was raped by this man. But it was a white lady at the book signing. I talked with her. She said that the white folks knew that they were screwing around. She said basically all the white people, white and blacks, knew that they had a relationship, but because of taboo, it was taboo at the time. They couldn't talk about it. It wasn't acceptable socially, so that she had to lie that he raped her. But look at Willie McGee. They basically Willie McGee, Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was Willie McGee. So all y'all celebrating this black man being tore down, or this human being, his constitutional rights, his human rights, his civil rights was violated. If they could do this to Bill Cosby, imagine what they're doing to your loved ones in prison, in jail, without your knowledge. So yeah, please pass this around. One of the real reasons why they got Bill Cosby. Thank you all for listening. If you like the words from Brother Hurd, please subscribe, share it with your networks. Please support this information movement. Make a one-time donation at PayPal. Email r2c2h2@gmail.com. Once again, the email is r2c2h2@gmail.com. You also can become a patron at our patreon.com page. Look up We All Be. It's patreon.com/We All Be. Buy artivist gear. You see the shelf down there with the t-shirts and all that. Support the movement. Buy artwork. r2c2h2.com. I believe in helping my people. I love serving my people. A lot of times y'all give me a hard time. It is what it is. I just let it roll off my back. I can't help it. And it is what it is, because I know that I'm doing my God work. And I'm glad to the people who are able to receive this in love. But listen to what I'm saying. Read the newspaper article for yourself, written by his wife, his Isis. That sister's gonna make sure his legacy is gonna live forever. The only reason why we know about people like Dr. King and Elvis Presley, because they married well. They married the right women. Coretta Scott King, Priscilla Presley made sure that their husbands' legacies did not die with them. Camille Cosby, Dr. Camille Cosby is gonna make sure that her husband's legacy, his true legacy, lives beyond him. Thank you, Bill Cosby, for your revolutionary sacrifice, for your revolutionary suicide. But this will not be in vain. The truth will come out. Like Baba Dick Gregory said, let's pray at noon for the truth to come out. The truth is really staring us in the face. Stop being such sheeple and think for yourself. So thank you all once again. In the words of the great Duke Ellington, we love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing.